The story of Peter Manfredonia. He went on a 6-day killing spree. He started off with, he was stalking a young lady, and the young lady found out that, he was stalking her. He changed her social media accounts or account. I don't know how many it was. And she, told him, like, this is illegal, like, you need to stop. He ignored that, and he decided that he was going to go show up to her house unannounced. He got on his bike, and he made sure to pack his 2 knives with him, and he started off on his journey. His bike ended up breaking down, and a nice young man came along, Ted Demers, a nice old man. You want me to say old man? Seasoned man? What you want me to call this man? A nice old man came along. Ted Demers. He was a trucker. And Peter ended up finding out that Demers lived in, the neighborhood of which he was actually heading to. I guess, from just talking to them. But along the way, Ted must have said something that Peter didn't agree with, because he ended up slicing him up pretty badly. And someone in the midst of him doing all this, a neighbor that was very old, like 80 years old, was seeing what was happening, and he wanted to, step in and try to save the day. And he ended up getting attacked as well, but he survived.
Peter, at this point, he's killed a man on the side of the road with a sword. The older gentleman who was a good Samaritan and picked him up. He then kind of got out of that jam with the neighbor and did a B&E, breaking and entering, and did a B&E in Delaware. It just so happens the man he had broke into the man's house, Pete, at this point was already on the news. Like local news, it was letting people know this is a guy you need to watch out for. This man had grabbed his gun, loaded it up, just in case this man showed up at his house, just in case Peter showed up at his house. Turns out, the man fell asleep, caught some Z's, woke up to his own gun pointed at the back of his head, and the guy telling him, the same man, yeah, I'll blow your head out, blow your brains out. And Peter was not really feeling up to that task with this particular guy, because he ended up befriending him to an extent. I mean, he held him hostage, he took his weapons, but he still was overall reported to be cordial and let the man watch TV and talk to him. So that did happen. And eventually, Peter took one of the man's vehicles, some food, and decided to get back on the open road, back to the killing spree. He rode into his old town where he used to live at, found his old childhood friend, and for reasons undisclosed, decided to kill that boy. Well, that man, should I say, with the stolen guns. So he's changed from using the swords to using the gun now. He kidnaps his best friend, his childhood buddy's friend's girlfriend, and has her drive him to a truck stop as he makes his way towards Maryland. She gets him to the truck stop. From her driving to the truck stop, should I say, went from that truck stop to an Uber, and the Uber was going to get him, in his opinion, discreetly to Maryland. I don't know what he planned on doing in Maryland, but glad he didn't get to pull it off. They shut him down. They started finally be able to triangulate his location based off all the different little metadata tags they had on him, little pinpoints on different locations he had been at, and it eventually all caught up with him.
This boy wanted to get caught. He was doing all the things to basically make his trail be known. But they also said that he was realizing that, it's no going back kind of thing. So I guess he just wanted to get everything. I don't even know how to say this. All his urges, he wanted to fulfill them. And he made sure to do that within these 6 days. They said that he ended up taking an Uber, like you were saying, to a Walmart. He ended up stealing the car at the Walmart, and then he abandoned that car. They found footage of him like in some type of store that he was in, and then he took another Uber. Like he was ready to get caught. And they also said he changed his clothes when he kidnapped the ex-friend's girlfriend. He ended up changing his clothes and putting on some red sneakers. Like, that's just screaming, look at me, I'm a killer. And what's also crazy, his parents ended up saying that, they didn't think this would be possible. They didn't think that he would be able to kill someone. But they show pictures of his room, and he has all these sayings on his wall.
Something about Adam Snap, meaning the boy who committed the Sandy Hook massacre. Adam snapped. They ain't no snapped. What'll happen when I snap, or something to those lines.
And his parents said he struggled with mental illness. Like, you didn't think to get your son help. You got him cheesing and smiling on his Instagram like everything's A-okay. And this boy is suffering inside. And it's like they just wiped it under the rug. So I feel like this could have been prevented, because you never know what could happen, But they could have took the measures that needed to be taken to get him help, and not just let him put on this facade for the cameras. And even sicker females started, once they found out about, him doing all this, they started commenting him and like asking him to do these things to them. And it's insane. Like, have some respect for yourself. That's disgusting. But that's how we're going to leave it today. This is Peter Manfredonia. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next week. Make sure you like and subscribe, and leave us a comment below if you have any story suggestions for us.